Hello and welcome to this session on how to get started with social media. My name is Abby Gajan and I'm Marketing Director at Prominent. So this should give you an overview of social media channels that are available and how you can implement them for yourself and for your business. So just a bit of background about me. As I mentioned, I'm the marketing director at Prominent. So my focus areas are particularly digital marketing, as part of that, social media, advertising and media buying. That includes social media advertising, as well as running press offices for clients. So the media coming through to us and asking questions of the business or organisation. So we're going to focus specifically on social media today. So what is social media? I'm going to go back to basics on this just to give you a really good overview. So social media is one of the ways that you can connect with your customers and target audience digitally. So you might have a website, but this provides an opportunity for to actually do it on a regular basis and to be on areas and platforms that you might find other people and your target audience are on, rather than them having to go onto your website, find the information. You're actually coming to them. So there's a variety of social media platforms for you to choose from Facebook to Twitter and LinkedIn, and we'll cover all of those and a couple more in this presentation. So social media also provides people that like or follow you with access to quick updates from the business. So whether it's a change of opening hours due to COVID-19 restrictions, whether it is a new member of staff that you have employed and want to introduce to the Twitter sphere or Facebook world, then this is an opportunity to do so. So social media is important for a number of reasons. Many people prefer to actually interact with people and businesses in this way rather than email or phone. So it makes your business feel more accessible. Email and phone, I think, have changed in the types of people that will use them. A lot of people do prefer to write something down rather than call. Or if you're looking to actually just comment and interact with the business, but not necessarily buy from them at that point, social media gives you that kind of middle ground. Social media also provides with an opportunity to point people back to your website. So if you spent a lot of money on creating a website, the last thing you want to do is not then get traffic to that place. So by having social media accounts, you can point people back to your news pages, back to specific product pages, all to gain that traffic and get that momentum back to your website. So platforms also, such as Facebook, YouTube and Twitter, also feature on Google when people search for your business. So you might have seen, if you Google your business, or if you Google nurseries in a certain area, that there will be certain listings that will come up. So alongside those organic listings, you will see area to the right-hand side, which will talk about certain features. So that might feature a Facebook profile of someone. It might feature YouTube videos in regards to how to repot nursery stock. There are a lot of different segments which come through from the social media channels onto Google search engines nowadays, and there is no it doesn't look like that's going to be stopping anytime soon. So if anything, it's good to start integrating these into what you do. My biggest piece of advice would be to think strategically. So you could be on all of these social media platforms, but really what you need to understand are the people that you want to speak to on these social media platforms. So if you haven't started using social media yet, try to take this on board and choose the ones that are going to be most relevant and beneficial to you. If you already use social media, it might be worthwhile looking at your approach, seeing what's working, and also maybe scaling back some of those. It would be more worthwhile to actually get 1 or 2 social media channels that are actually working effectively than it would be to have the whole scale of platforms and not actually find that you're getting anything from them because they're too time consuming with the amount of different posts that you have to put on, or you just don't have time to concentrate on something. So do something well and then move on to the next one. Try to grow it and then look at where else you could go next, rather than just having a scattergun approach. So who do you want to see your updates? Is it your customers? Is it your suppliers? Is it your peers? In regards to whether it's your customers, if you sell direct to Joe Public, you're most probably looking for a channel that is what we would call B2C, so business to consumer. So that would be anything from Facebook, where you can talk directly to Joe Blogs down the road. If it's suppliers that you're looking to speak to inform them about your products and just make sure that they can sell your products better, then it might be a channel like LinkedIn would be better for you, because you'll be connected with those people and therefore they'll see your updates. If it's your peers, also that's what we would call a B2B, so a business to business market. And again, LinkedIn might be good for this, but actually Twitter might also be good, as we do see a lot of industry talk happening on Twitter as well as LinkedIn. So what I will do is now sort of break that down a bit further. Here we go. So now breaking that down a bit further, what do you know about those people that you want to talk to, or your audience or audiences? What do you know about them? Do you know an age range? Do you know whether there are certain people of certain genders that you seem to be talking to more? Is there a preference? Are they in a certain location? So if you're looking for people in a certain area because you don't go UK wide, can you say, oh yes, it's within a 5-mile radius of where I'm at, or is it within an hour's drive? The more you can pinpoint, the better, because then you start to understand who these people are. So also, when are they likely to have free time? Because if they are at work between 9 to 5, then it's unlikely they will be on social media. So if you are looking to put out posts, ideally you'd be looking to fit them around those times. So maybe 8 in the morning when they've just woken up and getting ready and just have a couple of minutes downtime, or in the evenings when they're scrolling through their phone while watching TV and just having that leisurely time. So with all of those questions and those different what we call demographics, what you want to do is write down as many of these patterns or types of people as possible, so that you understand who you're looking to target. What we can then decide from then is what social media platforms are right for you. And we'll go through the likes of the different platforms so that you can start pinpointing which ones you want to explore. So Facebook's first, a couple of top statistics for you. So as of October this year, there were 45.94 million Facebook users in the United Kingdom, which is Facebook, one of the biggest platforms that are out there. Facebook is used daily by 44% of the UK population, and users spend an average of around 23 minutes on Facebook every day. So once they're there for a while, then realise that they've gone down some sort of Facebook post hole, or they've been scrolling for a while and then seem to come off. But predominantly Facebook is used by people socially. So people that are using it are posting personal insights into their day, or they're providing their points of view. So this is a social platform, unlike sort of others that are potentially more business based. This is specifically for those that have some leisurely downtime and want to talk about it, rather than using it to talk about what they've done at work. So when you're talking to these people, you are most probably talking to a direct customer. So as I said, your Joe Blogs, and also talking to them within leisurely time. Specific statistics for you, and this is where we talk about age ranges, etc. So the largest age range group in this area is 25 to 34 years old, with more than 11 million users. In regards to trends, users that are aged between 65 and over have actually increased from 2019 to 2020. So it seems that that age group is increasing, and also those that are aged between 18 to 24 have declined. So going down from 24% in 2012 down to 16% in 2020. This could be for two reasons. So the people that are already on there are growing up with it and continuing to use it. Therefore, they're moving into different age brackets. It could be that new registrations for Facebook are coming from older people. And also it's likely that those 18 to 24 are registering less. And they're choosing other social media platforms. So it's really important that you think about what you're saying and make sure that they fit between these specific audiences. It will then mean that at least you're talking in the right way to those people. And 52% of users are women, 48% men. So actually that's quite an equal balance. So specifically for yourselves, a business Facebook page allows you to showcase information such as photos, videos, updates, which are known as posts, your website information and contact details such as telephone number and address. When you post, people who like your page will be able to engage either by expressions such as like and love, which you might be able to see as little icons down underneath the picture on the right hand side. They can also add a comment, which is then added underneath the post, and other people can see that who also view your page. They also have the opportunity to share the post with others, would that be on their own profile, into groups that they might be a part of, and also through direct message. I think that someone in particular would be interested in that post. So that's a quick insight into Facebook. Twitter. So Twitter, as of October 2020, there were 16.65 million Twitter users in the United Kingdom. What we find with Twitter is that it's a different type of social media channel. So it's used both on a personal and a professional level, and is a middle ground between the likes of LinkedIn, which is a professional network, and Facebook, which is, as I've said before, sort of a social network. It leans more towards Facebook, but actually what we do see is that there are a lot of industries where people are having professional based conversations, and actually a lot of different users do use it to interact with their peers. So some specific statistics for you. The largest age group is between 25 and 34 years old, so similar to that Facebook audience, and 43% of users access Twitter several times a day. So it's not just one of those that you log in once a day and done. People will continue to go on and see what's changing. With Twitter compared to Facebook, what you find is actually the posts that are coming through are much more regular, and therefore there's more reason for people to come back and check what has changed and have a look at, you know, the posts that that come out from the people that they follow. So a Twitter profile, whether you're a business or a person, actually looks the same. Unlike Facebook, where a business must have a page rather than a profile, Twitter, whether you're a business or a person, basically considers you a profile, and that's that. So a Twitter profile features a bio section, which is the area under the profile picture. It also features a website link opportunity and also a profile photo, which is the red circle with the BBC News in this example. The bio section, ideally what you're trying to do here is to succinctly summarize what you do and what the account will be posting about. Therefore, it will give people an idea to understand more about you, but also whether the posts that you're going to be talking about are going to be of interest to them, and whether they then decide to follow. So the art of Twitter is to learn to be brief. Compared to other social media channels, Twitter actually limits the amount of characters that you can put in a post, or their version of post is tweets. So you can still add links and videos, but that will then start taking up some of your characters. Actually, Twitter was a smaller amount of characters up until a couple of years back, but they have now actually extended that to 280 characters. But the briefer you can be, hopefully, the easier you can get your message across for people to be able to read it and take in what you're talking about. So your posts, to have further reach, can also include what are called hashtags. You can either include these within or at the end of your posts. Hashtags basically will allow people to look up for common keywords and find posts that relate to those. Here we go. So here's some examples for you. So hashtags can be anything from ICL's examples here are plants and horticulture and plant jokes on a Friday. And there's another example there by the AHDB horticulture account where they've used hashtag crop protection, hashtag growers, etc. So if you're looking to add hashtags into posts yourself, you might want to start by some that will be relevant either for your industry, so hashtag horticulture, or actually maybe a hashtag that's location based for you. So I've taken Manchester here, it could be Glasgow, Edinburgh, London. Ideally, or you could look at county, so Norfolk, Essex, for example. The best thing to do, to be fair, to decide what hashtags you want to include into your posts is to take a look at what other accounts use. So those that provide similar services or are in similar locations to yourselves. So what are they using? What seems to be working well for them? How many interactions are they having? In regards to interactions on Twitter, like Facebook, they do have the comment tab, which is you can see the logos underneath the picture on the ICL Grow sample tweets that I've added in here. You also have an opportunity to what Facebook would call share. In Twitter, it's called a retweet, and that will come up on your social media channels as sharing some information that you found with your followers. You also have the opportunity to like, and the icon which has the upward arrow is to share, normally outside of a normal retweet. So that would be a direct message to someone or sending a link to someone to say, hey, come and have a look and see what they've been saying on this tweet. So that's a roundup for Twitter. We will move on to Instagram. So Instagram is again another different social media channel. As of September 2020, there were 27.25 million Instagram users in the United Kingdom, and 80% of those users actively follow a business or a brand. Predominantly used by people socially. They'll like Facebook, so they will take posts of if they go out for the day or what interests them. But actually, there is a space now on Instagram for businesses and brands to also have profiles and also interact with people. And that has developed over the last couple of years and is actually a space where brands can grow compared to the likes of Facebook, where brands are somewhat limited to what they're able to do because Facebook is now looking to limit the amount of people it sends your posts to through their algorithms of trying to make you buy adverts. With Instagram, you can have an organic account, and ideally, as long as you get traction on that, it will then be sent to more and more people. So here's some specific statistics for you. So 30.5% of users are between 25 and 34 years old, which seems to be those 25 to 34 are very active on multiple channels. 54% of users are women and 46 men. So again, quite balanced, but in the favour of women. 54% of users access Instagram several times a day, and this isn't uncommon. I think it's something that people do because The amount of posts that that go on there are regular. People are posting more than once a day, normally a couple of times a day, and therefore what that means is that there's more content and more pictures for people to see and experience and look at and interact with. The highest difference between men and women occurs actually in the people aged 35 to 44, where women lead by 700,000. Personally, I think this reason is because that women are preferring to potentially use Instagram, where actually men are turning their attention to the likes of Twitter. And personally, that's where I think most probably the split has been happening. So Instagram is a picture and video based sharing platform. So like Twitter, you have a small bio at the top. And then a link to your website. Posts, as well as posts, businesses are also able to upload what are called stories. So stories are pictures or video that only exist for 24 hours and then they're removed from your profile. So normally if you have a story where you can see the camera icon, which is Instagram's logo, they would have that multicolored purple, red and yellow that is on that camera actually around the logo itself to show that there is a story, and that is to signify that there is a post live and people are used to seeing that and then clicking through. And if you would like to save your stories for more than 24 hours, you can add them to an area that's called your highlights. So these are the small circles that you can see above the square-based posts that are here. So this means that they're saved then on your profile for other people to look at. I find a lot of businesses that are doing that are those that look to feature a certain service. So for example, if you have a certain stock that is only seasonal and therefore you want to give it a bit more prominence, then you can do so by taking pictures of the stock and adding them onto your stories and then saving them to your highlights. This could include pricing so that people understand how much that would be. This could include how long they'll be available for, etc. So actually the world is your oyster. So in regards to Instagram, they have used it for guides, which will be telling people what they can do with Instagram, but you can use it for many, many different purposes. What I would suggest doing is have a look at other businesses that are on Instagram and see how they use it, and then look to understand how you might be able to adapt that for your business. So with Instagram, unlike Facebook and Twitter, which are text-based or text-led, Instagram, to be able to post, you must have a video or photo as part of your post. This is the main part of your post. And as you can see on the Instagram profile that I have up on the screen, you can actually see just square upon square upon square. This is how your profile is previewed, and actually it won't be until you click into them that you'll be able to see the wording which goes with each profile. So posts are usually square. You can make them rectangle, but actually when they feature on your profile, they will be square. Instagram also allows you to use filters when you upload an image or video. So if you think something needs a bit of brightening, a bit of contrast, change the color a bit, then you can actually do that within Instagram. I think the main difference between Instagram and the likes of Facebook and Twitter so far is that it is based on being visually appealing, and it's beneficial for those that have content that they can regularly upload that includes photos and videos. So this would be very good in regards to taking photos of your stock or of your products. It could be showing off the whole area of your premises. It could be a photo of a person that's recently started to introduce them. It could be a video of someone doing a how-to and a tutorial guide to your customers. The world is really your oyster on this. It's how creative you want to be. So Unlike other social media platforms, you actually can't place links which click through into the text that goes alongside your picture post or your video post. What you'll find on Instagram is that a lot of people use the term link in bio. So that means if someone wants to click on a link to know more, they will have to go onto your profile page, like the Instagram one I've got up here, and go to the blue writing that's just underneath your bio, which this one is about.instagram.com. To be honest, I can't really say that there's a reason why they do it this way, but they do. I think it's likely to be to get people from a post that they've seen about you to actually start interacting with your profile. But this is one of the unique features that Instagram has. So like Twitter, to get more people to see your photos or your posts, this is where you will need to add hashtags. So as well as building up your following, what you can do is add hashtags to your text. And that means that people that search for those words will also see your content. And what that will allow you to do is see more people than the numbers of people that are following you. So when you're starting from scratch, this is ideal because you won't have many followers and you need to kind of expand the amount of people that are following you. So interaction is key. As well as Instagram, this is actually for all social media accounts. You need to try to create a two-way conversation. If people comment on your posts, you need to try to respond to them. And actually, you as a business can also follow other accounts as well. So ideally, you want to try and engage with those people as well to actually get a conversation. If people start seeing you commenting on other people's posts, it lets them know that you're there. They might not necessarily be following you, but if you're posting on other people's accounts and they see you, they might then trigger their interest and then come onto your account and see what you're about. So the more you can engage, the better. LinkedIn, I've touched on slightly, but here is some more information about it. So there are 27 million UK personal profiles on LinkedIn. 32.2% of the UK population uses LinkedIn. And there are 961,804 registered company pages, which is pretty considerable. LinkedIn is targeting professionals, job seekers, entrepreneurs, and others that are looking to create professional networks. So this is specifically based on this business to business market. So it's more talking to other people in different jobs, but talking to them in their professional and company capacity. So 60% of users are male, with 40% being female. The smallest groups of users are aged 15 to 24, which is not surprising because they're most probably either not into the job market or being introduced into the job market. So they might not necessarily have previously needed a use for LinkedIn. Whereas others, when you start getting into the job market, you then start putting yourself out onto LinkedIn so people understand who you are, but also you can make some good business connections. There are 20 updates a minute in the UK on LinkedIn, and that's talking about posts that people are doing rather than updates of the social media app itself. There's not a lot of downtime or anything like that. So when we talk about updates, it means that connections or personal profiles are posting quite considerably, and for the UK that amounts to 20 updates each minute in the UK. Also, going back to the previous slide where we did mention that the UK population are on LinkedIn, actually that's looking at that further, then it's actually 75.6% of the working population has a profile on LinkedIn. So that kind of breaks that stat down a bit more. So a business profile on LinkedIn can look something like this. So I've taken ICL's UK and Ireland business profile page. It features an about section, posts from the business, as well as a list of professional profiles of people who work at the business. So that's under the little people section that you can see along the left-hand side. This is a platform that are in the B2B market, as mentioned. And a business profile needs to be viewed as a secondary personal to a personal profile. What I mean by this is that with LinkedIn, you have more power to share and to connect with people if you have a personal profile. So I have a personal profile as marketing director for Prominent, but Prominent also has a business page. What Prominent page relies on, though, is me and my other colleagues and those that follow the page to share the content that's on there so that more people see it. If you post on a business page, what you'll find is that followers that follow that business page might see it, but actually what you want to do is looking at how you can expand that further. So in that case, if you tell your employees or ask your employees to share the posts that are on your business page, you have more possibility of actually getting that traction. So it's more beneficial for you to make sure that posts that are shared on that business page are shared within the company's personal profiles. There is actually a very handy tool within LinkedIn to allow this to happen. So when you do a business post, so as you can see, there's one about Hort Science Online. What you are able to do is to actually click notify employees, and what that will do is that will send a notification to say that there's a new post on that business profile. So at least you're not continuously asking. LinkedIn has put in a tool and made it easier for you to do so. Moving on to YouTube, which is actually the final social media I will be introducing today. I know plenty of you will be thankful for this because I think there's been a lot of information to provide, and this is just a quick summary of all the different ones that are there, and we've only touched on a few. But YouTube is actually really important. There are 37.1 million adults using YouTube in the UK, but actually YouTube's the second most visited site in the UK. And what I'll mention going forward, what you need to be aware of is actually YouTube is the second largest search engine apart from Google. So if people are searching, they are either doing it on Google, or they're actually going on YouTube looking for how-to. You know, how do I, when should I be looking at planting my carrots, for example? So there are a lot of different things that people search to understand how they can actually do it for themselves. So YouTube is such a handy tool to be part of if you can make sure that you've got the content on there regularly. So 46% of YouTube users log in every day. And that's because there are a lot of people that are providing more and more content on there, but actually it is that helpful tool where you can just pick up on the app and search a random question to figure out how you might do something. This is specifically for DIYers do this as well. I know I do personally. So this is a place where it's used to video content. Users purposefully search for what they want to watch, as opposed to kind of scrolling and coming across content by accident. So if you're going onto YouTube, there's normally a reason for it. So on average, viewing sessions are just around 40 minutes. It is very easy to watch one YouTube video and then to move on to another YouTube video and another one, and then realize that you've spent an hour on there. So I'm not surprised to see that the average viewing session is quite high. 85% of internet users watch online video content through YouTube, and people aged 15 to 25 are using YouTube the most. So again, I'm providing an example here, and I've chosen ICL as it's one I know quite well. YouTube, as I've mentioned, is the second biggest search engine after Google. So unlike other channels, your video actually doesn't need to be an overnight success. With the likes of Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and Instagram, ideally what you need to do is generate that traction within the first 24 hours for it to decide that actually your information and your post is of real interest, and actually then the social media channel to push that out further to other people that don't. Where YouTube actually people can go back to your videos years after it is published and look at it and view it and find it useful. So actually, you don't need to be an overnight success and get 10,000 views on a video. It's there to be able to be reverted back to, and it can provide benefit for people and viewers for years and years to come. Videos can differ in length, so you don't need to think that you need to do something that is hugely long for it to be interesting. Actually, a lot of videos that work quite well are 1 to 2 minutes long, 30 seconds even. If you can be succinct, then why not? People can get to the information that they want to quicker. If you're looking to create a YouTube profile, view what your competitors do. So, or similar companies, are their videos a certain length? Because if they are, then it's likely that they have found how long they can keep their audience interested. What questions have they answered within their videos? What topics have they covered? But more interestingly, are there any gaps in what they haven't covered that you can come in and create a video and actually put that online? So try to create an attractive headline and a preview image that will entice people to click. By doing that, what it allows people to do is to understand what your video is about from first glance. And if possible, add subtitles where you can to your videos. The CIPR recently, the Chartered Institute of Public Relations, that is the CIPR, recently put a stat online which said that 85% of those that view videos, if you take your YouTube video and decide to share it on your other social media platforms, it's likely that they are actually viewing it silently, which means that they are most probably looking at their phone, looking at the video, but also having the TV on in the background. So by adding subtitles to your videos, what you're allowing people to do is to actually read it and understand it and see what's happening without having to have the volume on. So there's a couple of final slides for me to leave you with. And these are pieces of information and advice that can actually go across all social media platforms. So on all social media, here's some things for you to take away. Try to ensure that you're regularly posting. For most social media channels, that will be daily. For others, it might be every other day. But what you will find is if you do it daily, you will be able to see where you are getting your engagements, when people are commenting, posting, liking, and that gives you more information to understand when you should be posting. So just because you're posting, or I'm asking you to post daily, it doesn't necessarily mean that it needs to be what we call original content. So you typing up text or you posting an image that's come from yourself. It could be that you're sharing posts from other people that have said something interesting, and actually you think it might be information that your viewers would also find interesting. So it could be a news article, it could be a how-to guide from one of your suppliers. Actually, by sharing that content, you're providing more information for your audience and providing them with information that's a benefit to them. Posts that usually get the best engagement will include a photo, a graphic of some sort, or a video. So this is what we call rich media. It means that it's not just text. It's got something that's a bit more engaging, that catches someone's eye, and means that they are actually interacting with it more, and they might stop and read what the text then says if they see a picture that they're interested in, or if they see a video that they're interested in. So really think about when you're putting up posts, do I have something like a photo or a video or a graphic that can go with this and actually really support it? Where possible, also try to include a link within your post. Of course, this is not possible on Instagram, but ideally, if you're using social media, what you're trying to do is also to drive traffic back to your website or to send people where there's more information, which means that they can find out more details and decide to act on your post. So it could be that you have a deal on a certain product. You put up a photo of that product and say, oh, it's a special deal for the next couple of weeks, and then you send them to the website for more information. However, it could be that an article has come out which is important and relevant for people that follow you, and actually you want to send them to the BBC News or to your local news site and your local newspaper, so that they're able to find out more information. If you can be seen as that source of information, then it means that your content is more valuable to them and they have a reason to have a look and see what you're talking about. So if you're concerned with all the vast variety of social media channels I've spoken about and are thinking, I just don't have time to spend all day on social media, there is a way that you can make your posts work for you. So if you are writing a specific post to put on a social media channel, then think about how you might be able to tweak that so that's relevant for another. So yes, I implore you to take content that you have used somewhere else and put it in another place. However, that comes with the caveat that you tailor that you repurpose it, and that you think about how you might take it from Facebook, for example, to Twitter. To be honest, it's most probably going to be cutting it down, but it also could be that you find that actually I'm speaking to a different type of person when I'm on Twitter, and therefore I need to make it more technical, or I need to actually make it more simplified so that I can talk to the people effectively that I'm engaging with on that social media channel. If it's linked, if you're transferring something onto LinkedIn, you might want to provide more information about why this is important to the business. Think about how you need to tailor it, but actually the messages might ring true for different channels. Here's some final tips to go away with. So where possible, try to engage with people on your social media channels. Do not be afraid of them. Try to speak to them. So do not try to just put up a post and then leave it. If people start talking to you on it, reply to them, get involved in a conversation. The more they feel like there's a human behind the screen, the more likely they are to feel a connection with you and hopefully in turn buy from you. Try to vary your posts. So it could be that you've got a sale on and of course you want to push your products. I completely understand, but try to vary that with the likes of tutorials, especially if you find that people are asking you, oh great, I have your product, but how do I use it? Are there certain tutorials you would be able to do? Are there interviews with members of staff that you might be able to have? So for example, if you have an apprentice, you might be able to do an interview with them about how they're getting on, why they decided to have a career in your industry. Let people know what you're doing for charitable events. This is very similar to jumping on trends. So last week was Children in Need. Did you do anything for that? Could you tell people about it? Because that's actually something that a lot of people get behind, and there is a kind of common reason to come together. Try to use, where you can, open questions within your posts. So if you're talking about being open on the weekend and people can come down and see you on Saturday and Sunday between these times, why not open it up? Ask people what they're doing on their weekends, because the more engagement you get, the better. You're asking people, you're humanizing something that social media can feel like you were continuously posting about, I have this sale, I have this product, buy from me, buy from me. But if you open up those questions to ask people what they're doing, or what would you like to see from us that you haven't seen before? Would you like us to do some behind the scenes footage of what it's like to work here? See what people want and what they want to engage with. The more you can do that, the better. Review what posts work well. So you will see as you start posting that there will be some that get more likes, more comments than others, and try to use that information to then create content going forward. So the more you do that, hopefully, the more that your engagement will increase. This final one is a bit of a bugbear of mine, because actually it can really be beneficial if you do it right. So we are all in this situation with COVID-19, and of course things are changing on a day-to-day basis, a week-to-week basis, and there are restrictions that are coming in right, left and centre. So it means that as businesses we need to adapt. What we need to do when we do adapt is let people know what is happening. So if you are changing your opening times, if you've had to close, if you're doing things differently, talk about it. If you've put in measures to make sure you're COVID secure, talk about it, because the more you can tell people what you're doing and how that's changing and provide them with those updates, the easier it is for them to turn up when you're open, to understand and feel confident about the measures you've put in place, that they know that they are going to have social distancing options and that there is enough space. The more you can tell them about what you're doing to enable them to feel confident about buying from you, visiting you, the better. So as much as these restrictions are difficult and are continuously changing, bring those people that are following your social media also along for the ride, so they understand how they can interact with you. Wow, that felt like a very long summary, but I hope that you found this useful. I hope that gives you an insight into how you can start to look at social media differently. But also, if you want to start or have had social media, how you might be able to tweak it so it can be more benefit to you. I hope you found this useful. Please do get in touch with me if you have any feedback. Also, if you have any questions, if you go onto the Prominent website, you will find my details on there. Thank you ever so much, and happy social mediaing and tweeting and posting.